Going live, going live just a couple minutes early. Let's get into this. So my friend Gina has given me a recipe, and I would love to have some feedback, people telling me what recipe to do. Tell me a recipe to do, right? If you have a family recipe, and especially if you are from some other country than America, even if you're from America, that's cool. I love exploring cultural dishes. So if you have a very what's the word that I'm looking for? A very distinctive recipe from a certain part of the world. I would love to have that recipe and go over it with you. And if you would teach me online as we go, I would love it. So anyway, she got me I think this is off of the Eating Well website, a lemony lentil cauliflower cup soup is what it's called. As always, when I cook, I'm going to do it without oil. I'm going to do it without salt. I'm going to do it without highly processed flour, right? So I sometimes will do noodles that is processed, but I'm trying to get more plant into your gullet. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to fool you into putting a few more vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, mushrooms, any kind of plant into your gullet that I can. So having said that, I'm just going to read over the ingredients. 1 tablespoon extra virgin olive oil from the website. I'm not using oil. 2 cups chopped cauliflower florets. I'm going to do a half portion this time. 3/4 cup yellow onion. 2 tablespoons minced garlic. 1/2 teaspoon salt. Not putting salt in here. 2 tablespoons water. 1 cup bulgur. 1 cup cooked bulgur. Now bulgur, from what I've read, sometimes you can just add some hot water to it, and you don't even have to really cook it that much. My wife says 1 to 3. So a lot of times whenever you're dealing with grains and or beans or everything, it's like how much water do you put with the grain or the bean? It's usually a ratio, what works best. Sometimes you can experiment yourself and find out. Also, go online. I think it's usually 1 to 1 to 1 to 3, depending on what kind of grain, what kind of bean, what kind of legume, whatever. Let's get back to it. 1 cup cooked lentils, 3 tablespoons chopped fresh cilantro, 2 tablespoons mild harissa paste. Harissa paste is a paste that I think comes from more of the Middle East. It has chilies, it has tomato, it has garlic, and some other things. I could not find, for the life of me, find harissa paste in at least a couple of grocery stores. So guess what? We just kind of made our own thing here. I'm going to do it without heat. So chili powder is out. We are going to do, basically I got some diced tomatoes, I got some garlic. We smashed it up here. I've got a couple, what I think is about a couple tablespoons here. It's not truly harissa paste. So this recipe right there is going to be a little bit different right there. 1 tablespoon lemon juice. I haven't done it yet, but I do have my lemon. 3 slices lemon, 3 cups reduced sodium vegetable broth. I'm doing everything in about half of what this recipe calls for. So in the recipe, it says heat oil in large nonstick skillet over medium heat. Once again, remember that this is looking for cooked lentils and cooked bulgur already done. I'm not doing it that way today, right? I've got my dry lentils. I've got 1/2 cup. I've got my dried bulgur wheat. Bulgur, a little bit different than durum wheat or some of the other wheats. So that's 1/2 cup of each of those. I've got 1 cup instead of 2 cups of cauliflower. I've got less than 3, it's about 3/8 cups of onions. I've got supposed to be 3 tablespoons chopped fresh cilantro, so 1.5. That might be a little bit more on the cilantro. I'm supposed to have 2 tablespoons of the harissa paste. That's my rendition for this recipe today. And let's get into it. So basically, I am going to start cooking a little bit of the onions, a little bit of the broccoli, and then I'm just going to cook it all together for about 20 minutes. The lentils are going to take about 20 minutes. The bulgur wheat is probably going to take about 15 minutes. So let's get into it. I'm going to pour just a little bit of, I've got a pot on my oven over here. I've had the gas on. I had it at 9. I turned it down to 6. It is a little bit hot. So I am going to put some Where did I put my vegetable broth? I think I put it away. I'm going to go get some vegetable broth. I'll be right back. Because I'm not using oil, I'm just going to use vegetable broth to keep things from burning, right? So we're going to put a little bit of vegetable broth. Woo, that is hot. It is. I'm going to turn that down a little bit more. We're going to go ahead and pour our onions in there. We're going to turn our heat down a little bit more. Woo, this controls your cooking by pouring water, pouring a fluid again while it's hot, right? So we've turned that down a little bit. We've got our onions. We've got them going. We're going to put those back over the heat a little bit. We're going to let those keep going. We're also going to put the broccoli in now. This is about cut. We're going to let that start cooking a little bit. My phone over here, my prepper view is frozen. What's going on? Is this because of my reception? So we're going to let that broccoli, I'm sorry, not broccoli, my cauliflower and my onions get a little bit soft here. So in the recipe, it talks for heat oil in large stock pot, skillet over medium heat. Add cauliflower and onion, cook, stirring occasionally until lightly brown and beginning to soften, about 10 minutes. Stir in garlic and salt, cook, stirring often until aromatic, about 1 minute. Add water, cover, and cook undisturbed until the cauliflower is tender, about 5 minutes. Remove from heat. So I'm going to cook this down until the cauliflower is a little more soft here. And then basically, like what I said, what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to just put the lentils in first, then I'm going to put the bulgur in. We're going to cook this for about 20 minutes. I'm going to put the bulgur in later. It only takes a little bit of time. Sometimes I've read that you can do it just with hot water by adding hot water to the bulgur. Look at the cooking instructions for bulgur on Google, but from what I've read, you don't necessarily, a lot of grains, you need to bring them to a boil. And then with my wife, what we do is we put it the gas down to 3. How you do that on an electric stove, I'm not sure. So you get to figure those things out for yourself. We've already been here 8 minutes. Isn't that awesome? So we're going to sit here. We're going to let this get soft. Then we're going to start cooking. How I'm going to cook it. Where do you add the harissa paste? Divide the bulgur and lentils among 3 canning jars or microwave airtight dishes. Top each with half cup cauliflower mixture, 1 tablespoon cilantro, 1 teaspoon harissa. So this soup is going to be done a little bit different. So you kind of plate stuff up at the end together. So you're not really cooking harissa in here. So this is very simple. Basically, you cook the cilantro, the lentils and the bulgur separately. I'm going to cook them together, all together with the cauliflower. So this is going to be a little bit different than they're doing in the recipe here. I'm going to add a little bit of white pepper, a little bit of umami blend from Simply Organics, and a little bit of pepper to add with that. So we're going to keep this going for about 5 minutes here. We're going to let this cauliflower get a little bit soft. Then we're going to go ahead and pour in the rest of vegetable broth that we have here. I'm going to cut my broccoli a little bit big, so I'm going to kind of use my spatula here and just make these a little bit smaller. The smaller the piece, the less cooking time, right? So I'm just trying to get this cooked to where it's soft to go a little bit faster. So I'm just cutting all the broccoli florets a little bit smaller pieces than I had originally cut them, just so that they will cook a little bit faster. And for me, this is all an experimentation. Like, I learned to cook by experimenting, by experiencing, right? So once again, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get you interested in eating a few more vegetables in your diet. If I can get you to try this as a side dish, if I can try to get you to try this as a main course, then I feel that I have done my job. I want you guys to eat a few more veggies in your life, a few more fruits in your life, a few more seeds in your life. You guys are already nuts, so a few more nuts in your life, right? So I think that it can only benefit your health if you get your nutrition correct, right? So most Americans, I believe that one of the biggest health crises that we have in America is because we don't eat correctly. Nutrition is not well. A lot of the stuff that is sold in the grocery stores is not the best for us. And if I can get you to cook a few more plants for yourself, then I feel that I have done something that has moved people in a better direction. So that's what I'm trying to do here. So we're going to let this cook down a few more minutes. Then we're going to pour us in some are you going to edit out the ums? No, I'm just going to talk as best I can. And I do notice sometimes when I say so I'm going to try to get better at cutting out the ums myself over time. I will get better as a speaker. So we're going to turn this heat up a little bit more. I'm going to turn this to an 8. That's going to get us really hot. I'm going to let this broccoli cook down a little bit more. Broccoli. I keep saying broccoli. This is cauliflower. Cauliflower looks like this. Broccoli is green. They are in the same genus species. They are in the same genus. They're the same plant family. So they do have a lot of the same characteristics. I believe it's called the cruciferous vegetables. Broccoli and cauliflower both live in the cruciferous family. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put 1.5 cups of vegetable broth in here. We're going to bring that to a boil. I'm going to turn this all the way up. I'm going to put a lid on this. I'm going to let this come to a boil. While I'm cooking here, guess what? I'm going to add a few spices as we're cooking right now. Dry spices, in my opinion, should be added earlier. So earlier in the cooking process, if you are cutting your herbs in, cutting up herbs and stuff to put in there, then I would suggest you need to add those later in the cooking process. And since I am not the best chef yet, but watch me as I roll, herbs come in later. So if you're cutting fresh herbs, put them later in the cooking process. We're going to put some pepper here. Pepper is my favorite spice, the master spice. I'm also going to put some white pepper. This is used much more in Asian dishes. We're going to put a little bit of that in there. We're going to stir this around a little bit. And we're going to bring this to a boil. And what the hell? We're going to go ahead and we're going to put our lentils in there now. We're going to wait till this is a little bit closer to being cooked before I put the bulgur in. We're going to let that come to a boil. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep these cooking shows to around 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, and show you the plated dish. I'm on Facebook. I haven't been good about putting the finished dish on YouTube. I will do that starting this week. I will shoot a short little video on what the finished dish looks like. You'll get to decide for yourself if it looks appetizing or not. Once again, if I can get people to tell me what recipe to try, if they would love to teach me in person, not necessarily in person, but virtually, we could do it virtually, right? So tell me what you need me to do virtually so that we can cook together. Once this comes to a boil, I'm going to put this timer at 20 minutes. I am going to put the bulgur in about 5 minutes after this has come to a boil, and then I tone it down a little bit to a simmer. So I'm going to let it simmer for about 20 minutes total. We're going to plate everything up. We're going to show you the finished product on Facebook. I'm just going to do a separate picture. On YouTube, I'm going to try to do a separate video where I just kind of show some of the plating and let you guys decide, does it look appetizing or not? Please feel free to comment. I can take some criticism, bro. So if you would like to criticize me in any way, go ahead. Now, if it's just hurtful and you're attacking me as a human being, guess what? I'm going to disregard most of your criticism. But if you're telling me, hey, Mark, hey, it might be better if you do X, Y, and Z, and you give me a reason, I am much more likely to listen to you and incorporate those into the show in the future. So I'm going to just see if I can get this prepper. Oh, I think it's because my phone is dead. How about that? Yeah, there we go. I guess you got to be doing something with your phone. Yeah, it's slow. My network must be kind of dead here. This is where my prep area was. I didn't do a little prep work live for you guys. I did most of the stuff earlier. It is starting to get a boil. Hey, let's go over here with the prepper view. Hopefully you can kind of see that. Starting to get a nice boil. We're going to let that get to a really strong boil. Then we're going to turn that down to what I call, what on my stove is a 3. This is a gas stove. I love gas. I think the gas is the easiest way to cook, in my opinion. There's some people that may feel that gas is bad. You do you, boo. You figure out what kind of cooking source you are, but this is usually done on gas. We're going to turn this down to about a 4. I'm going to try to get this to where it's just a simmer. We're going to put the timer on right now. It's going to be set for 20. We're going to start that. I'm going to pull the bulgur in about 5 minutes here. And then we're going to just let this cook for a while. Then we're going to plate everything else. It calls for some lemon juice, some harissa paste, which I do not have. I've made my rendition, which is probably not the best rendition. Find some harissa paste. Hopefully you can find it easier than me. I'm sure you can get it from Amazon or anywhere else. But for me, finding it at the grocery stores that are here, close to me was difficult. So I just decided to go ahead. I already got suggested this by my friend Gina, who has been on the show before. Once again, I would love to invite you to make the show even more interesting. I would love for you to come virtually. You could be over here on the side instead of my prepper view, and then you can be telling me what to do, how to act. I will be the puppet, you will be the marionette, and you will teach me what to do in order to make an amazing dish. Once again, if it's got meat, I'm not cooking it that way. If it's got oil, I'm not cooking it that way. If it's got salt, flour, sugar, I'm not cooking it that way. But if you have something that is amazing, that is very cultural. I would love cultural dishes. Some, like if you're Asian from somewhere in Southeast Asia, if you are from the Middle East somewhere, if you have an amazing dish, I would love to connect with you and cook with you virtually, and you teach me how to do it. So, having said that, we got about 4 more minutes. I'm going to wait to end this video till at least I put the bulgur in, and then later I will show you videos of how the finished dish looks. Once again, pretty easy recipe. I did modify it my way, and Gina got it from eatingwell.com. So I think there's a lot of amazing dishes on that site. Also, if you have a blog or something that has recipes on it, I would love to connect with you. Teach me how to cook it. We'll promote your blog, your recipe site, whatever that is. All right, we've gone for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes more. Then I'm going to put my bulgur in. Then we're going to just let it roll. See how it tastes at the end. You get to decide what it looks like. Feel free to comment. Tell me, Mark, your dish doesn't look very good. You can even curse on there if you want to. I might pay less attention to it if you do. That's up to you. Maybe we'll put a little more pepper in here. What the heck? What did I tell you? I love the pepper. So, actually, we are going to put a little bit more pepper in here. We're going to put a little bit of this umami. Umami is, I think it's originated in Japan. It's supposedly a different flavor. So, flavor profile, you got sweet, sour, bitter. Umami is one of them, which I didn't know until recently. So, we've got us about 2 more minutes. Then I'm going to put the bulgur in. Then I'm going to let you guys go. Enjoy your Saturday. Once again, feel free to reach out to me and let's cook something together. I would love that. All right, give this 2 more minutes. We're going to pop in and remember at the end, we're going to put in a little bit of cilantro. This is supposed to be harissa paste, but it's not. This is my rendition. Maybe I should kind of heat this up to make this more of a paste than the diced tomatoes that it is. I might put a little bit of lemon juice in there also. What the heck? I know that this is not traditional harissa paste. I would also like for you to tell me where harissa paste originates out of. Is there a certain country, a certain region? I would love to know that information. Give us 1 more minute. We're going to put the bulgur in, and then we're going to let you guys go. I'll show you kind of what the pot looks like as it is simmering. All right, so to me, that's kind of a very slow boil. It's not really a boil. It's a simmer. That's the difference between simmer and the boil. So as soon as my timer gets to 15, we're going to put the bulgur in there. We're going to show you a picture from the prepper view. And then we're going to let you go, guys, go for your Saturday. I hope you have an amazing, amazing week. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put the bulgur in. We are going to stir that with a spatula. So get it nice and moist here. I might pour just a tiny bit more vegetable stock in here, mainly to make sure that all my bulgur is wet. That will slow down cooking, so remember that. Anytime you're adding fluid, to your cooking process, it will slow it down. All right, we're going to show the camera prepper view. Let's prep her out here. Mark, please don't burn yourself as you pick up this lid. That is what it looks like right now. We will come back and show you the finished products, the plating of the product, You guys have a great Saturday. We will see you next week. Bye.